do it.
Okay, Michelle.
Come on, Michelle.
All right, hold on just a minute. Michelle Freeman is coming on to speak with us. ALANLA, and I believe her last name is Jackson. ALANA. ALANLA.
And I've dealt with that before. You dealt with what before, Queen? Alexandria.
Yeah, Ohio. Oh, she declined. You declined the video?
Okay. It's okay.
I forgot where I was.
We was talking about that desire. Sexual
yes.
desire.
Oh, excuse me, y'all. Sorry. So should I tag her? Just see if everything's okay, because she said something about she was having problems. Can you see us now, Queen? Severe depression. Yeah, you can be depressed. You can have anxiety when your sexual energy is not flowing within you. All these things can enhance. I'm not gonna say that you won't experience them anyway, but they can be enhanced. I'm glad. Alana, she said it did freeze, and then I think what happened was that when I tried to add Michelle, the video freezes while I'm trying to add her. Okay. But I'm glad y'all came back. Oh, my eye itched. And then I got probably crazy now. Anyway. So yeah, so you can experience the stress, the anxieties, the depressions, sadness, the insomnia, the inability to relax. Can you hear us now, Alana? Okay. Everyone else can hear us though, right? Okay, cool. People who are in touch with their sexual desires have more energy to pursue their goals and their dreams. People who are in touch with their sexual desires have more energy to pursue their goals and their dreams. A sexually satisfied woman is much happier, much more optimistic, a better mother, a better worker, a better partner.
And so let me just add on to that. Let me read that again. It says people in touch or queens in touch with their sexual desire will have more energy to pursue their goals and their dreams. And that goes back into what we were just saying, is that sexual energy is the mother of any other energy that's needed in life. And so if you're not feeling sexually fulfilled or sexually abundant, then you're not going to have the energy that you might need in other areas of your life. So it's important to feel a high sexual energy within your being. That's extremely important for the benefit of things that you're here to, what you might be trying to accomplish. And so, in other words, if your sexual energy is weak, then it's gonna, like, you're not gonna have the desire or the energy that is needed to complete the things that you might be trying to manifest, or what you might just be trying to accomplish. So it's very important to have an abundant amount of sexual energy in your being at all times, and don't feel embarrassed about that in any type of way. That is the foundational energy of all energies. It's sexual energies. So sexual energy gives birth to strength, power, like whatever name you want to put on it, like that motivates you to get out and do what needs to be done in your day, in your life, in your business, in your relationship, on your job. Sexual energy is the foundation of that energy. So don't be ashamed to tap back into that energy and allow it to flow in an abundant way in your being, because it's needed. Go ahead.
It's not only is it needed, not only is sexual desire needed, it needs to be a priority in your life. It's not a second thought. It's not something that, I'm too tired for it. It's something you have to make a priority in your life. You must make time to cultivate sexual desire. Yes. You must make time for that.
Put that on the back burner, because it's going to affect the other areas in your life.
The more sexual desire that we have within ourselves, the more vitality we have within ourselves. The more vitality we have in our bodies and in our organs, and the more healthier we become. If you are part of the etheric touch course, self-care level, the very first level, we shared with you that sexual energy is on a journey. Sexual energy at the root becomes life force energy at the heart, and becomes spiritual energy in the crown, connecting you to your higher self. So if you're depleted of that energy, then how are you able to do anything? How could you desire to do anything at all? So the cultivation. Yes, Alana, it should be recorded here in this group. You should be able to see this plenty of times moving forward, like as much as your heart desires. I hate that this is happening for you though. So it's very important to prioritize sexual desire, okay? And so in order to prioritize sexual desire, the next thing we need to know is what the first thing we need to know is what is our pussy. So we have to get to know our pussy, okay? And so the very first thing, one of the most intriguing things that I've found, well, this whole discourse right here is just really, really a powerful energy. It will empower you if you understand what is being said to you. The first thing you need to understand is that the pussy has 8,000 nerve endings. 8,000 nerve endings. To the penis is 4,000. The pussy area, it's not just the clitoris. Okay. It's the entire pussy area has 8,000 nerve endings, from the mons pubis to the labia to the inner labia, the clitoris, the vagina, the G-spot, the cervix. There's so many orgasms we could possibly talk about because of the amount of nerve endings that is actually the pussy. If you saw the pussy, it's really interesting because if you think about a man and you think about the dick and the testicles, the testicles, whatever, and you took it and you inverted it backwards, that's a lot like what the actual totality of the pussy looks like. The womb space looks like. Invert that motherfucker backwards and then increase it and double the sensitivity to it, and that's what you have as the pussy. 8,000 nerve endings. He already told you the average man ejaculates within 4 minutes of continuous stimulation. But guess what? We are fucking orgasm machines. Like, we can come as much as we want to come. We're abundant in it. It can flow like the waterfalls of our shoom out of us, and it will only empower us. It will not deplete us. You know. This is another thing too, yo. Like, check this out. The clitoris is able to be stimulated for pleasure only. The clitoris is able to be stimulated for pleasure only. Now let's think about that really quick, right?
It's the only purpose. It's pleasure.
It's correct. It's the only organ that is for pleasure, period. But the clitoris allows women, so because the clitoris is something that we deal with, we have, right? And it can be stimulated for pleasure only. We are literally the only being on this planet that is able to have sex for purposes outside of reproduction. So, in other words, when we have sex, yeah, we could get pregnant possibly during a specific, time period of the month. However, every other female on the planet, every other female species on the planet only gets in heat for reproductive purposes and not for pleasure. And men specifically, every single time they ejaculate, the ability to reproduce is there. But we can come as many times as we want to come, as often as we want to do it, for pleasure purposes only. How amazing are you? So what does that tell you? Like, women are made for pleasure. We are made for pleasure. If we're not experiencing pleasure in our everyday lives, if we're not experiencing ecstasy in our everyday lives, if we're not orgasmic in our everyday life, we are wasting our potential, because you are made for pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Women are able to have multiple orgasms continuously without being depleted. Men, literally, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, out. if the sexual energy that he has is not cultivated. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, and the reason that is, just to add on, is because men ejaculate that energy. Like women, they can have as many orgasms as their heart desires because it's retained within their being when we spill it out. And so that's why, man, he can have an encounter with a woman and he's talking all this big talk, what he getting ready to do. You know what I'm saying? How long he getting ready to last. But when he slide up in that sacred space, he done, and then it's over.
That's it.
And then it's over.
Can you make me a sandwich?
That energy to be ejected out of his body, and most men don't know how to recirculate, recycle that energy back into that body, into the body, so we can begin to balance our women out, because women are severely imbalanced when it comes to sex. Most women are sexually unsatisfied because of that. And that's why men are so afraid of a woman's sexual power, because he's not satisfying. You know what I'm saying? So but he understands that energy is, and that desire is still abundant in a woman. So where does she have to go now in order to get satisfied? Because I can't do it. And so men fear that, and so they try to keep them locked away in houses and control them, because they know they don't have the ability to satisfy. Most men don't have the ability to satisfy women in that way, and it makes men feel inferior and afraid. And so that's why they want to beat women down and make them feel worthless, because of their own inferiority, the inferiority that they feel about themselves because of that.
But in the meantime, you can still have pleasure, though. You know what I'm saying? As they over there angry and upset and whatever, you can still experience pleasure. You know what I'm saying? You can still experience an orgasmic or ecstatic state throughout everyday life. You can actually tune into this energy and allow it to work for you, so that you, one, are tuning in more into your intuition, but two, so that you can be experiencing pleasure as you walk down the street. Or as you're talking on the phone, as you're reading a book, as you're taking a bath, as you're sitting watching TV. You could be experiencing pleasure in all aspects of yourself. How fucking dope would that be? Mm-hmm. And just to add on to that even more, in my opinion, if women were experiencing pleasure within themselves without the help of anybody else, if women were experiencing pleasures within themselves on a regular basis, and that would also eliminate the need for competition among us. Because if you're happy, then there's no need to compete with anybody else. And it would allow us to bond even more strongly, because I have pleasure, nigga. Do you have pleasure today? You know what I'm saying? Got milk type vibration. Like, we all could be around here just happy. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it could be so much different from the aspects of like patriarchy has conditioned us to believe that our purpose in sexual activity is to please a man. Mm-hmm. And if that man does not come, then we have failed. Mm-hmm. I say that has nothing to do with me. Mm-hmm. Actually, and because of the husband that I have, I've learned that in actuality, every time I put him in a position of coming, I'm giving him a small death every single time. Mm-hmm. So it's not for me to be, that's the wrong conditioning. The conditioning is actually supposed to be reversed. Men are supposed to be conditioned to continue to give us pleasure in all aspects for as long as possible.
Let me add on to that. And the reason being, you know what I mean? Because when you're interacting with a woman, and women go to that highly sexual place that it should be a man's intention, every man's intention to take a woman to, it's the elixir that's filling up in that yoni. That when a man enters into that sacred, warm, pleasurable place that a women allow us to enter into, like what happens with a man is that the pores on the phallus open up, and the man begins to drink the fluid out of the woman's yoni to sustain us in a mental, physical, and spiritual way. Like, y'all will always be our nurturer. We came off the breast. Now it's time for us to go back in that yoni to receive that same nurturing. And so it should be a goal. It's the goal of every man to ensure that a woman is having as many orgasms that she possibly can have, because that's the most potent part of the elixir that can become a part of that equation. So when a man gets a woman there, and then that orgasmic power is being released into that yoni, and them pores open up on the phallus and start drinking that. You know what I'm saying? So it's our goal to make sure that we get our woman there. So we want to make sure that we're keeping our woman sexually happy because of the medicine that she's giving birth, like the medicine that she gives us. You know what I'm saying? Like from orgasms and being sexually celibate. That's our medicine. That's our, like, we literally drink that when we're in there. And so we need to understand that as men, and if more men understand that, I think more men should begin to make that a priority. Like when they realize the mental, physical, and health benefits that it has for us as men. I just want to add that in.
Congratulations, Janae, on that one you had yesterday. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. You probably over there cheesing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Happy about today. It's kind of a gray day here where I'm at in Charlotte, but you probably see the sun is shining and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Go ahead and come. Get you an orgasm. You know what I'm saying? You deserve that orgasm. Every time. And yes, it is the elixir of life. It's the juices that flow from us has been called Amarita. It's been called Soma. It's been called the Holy Grail. It has been called the Fountain of Youth. And I was going to get into this later, and you'll hear me say it again. But this is exactly what the juices are. Mm-hmm. So I implore you to start the exploration of your punani, of your pussy. Okay? She said, you know it. The exploration of your punani. The nerve endings are the 8,000 nerve endings, like I already said, are engulfed in the mons pubis and the inner and outer labia. I know, right? Woke up alert as fuck. The inner and outer labia, the clitoris, the vaginal canal, the cervix, the womb space, and the ovaries. All of these are filled with nerve endings, right? So it's really important so that you can start to connect with your pussy, to start to really connect with her. And what I would suggest doing is getting you a hand mirror and decorate that hand mirror in beautifulness, whatever you feel is beautiful. And take some time and take yourself out on a date, right? Take yourself out on a date. Get everything that you want, that you would feel like if you were with somebody else, a partner or a friend, you know what I'm saying, you would want them to do for you. But take yourself out on that date. Make yourself feel phenomenal, like you deserve everything that you've had on this date. Get yourself flowers, strawberries, whipped cream, whatever you like. Take you a bath. Engulf the bath in essential oils like lavenders and roses. You can add honey and milk to the bath water. Light your candles, have sweet smells in the background, play you some nice music, and wash your entire body, right? Wash your entire body. When you get out of the tub, take some time and look at yourself in the mirror. And during this time of looking at yourself in the mirror, appreciate all aspects of yourself. Look at all of your being and give honor, praise, and worship to every aspect of yourself. Oh, yes, my head is oval. It's a beautiful oval head. I can wear any haircut with this head. Oh, yes, look at my eyes. They are very cat-like. They can be seductive in nature. Oh, look at them full lips. You know what I'm saying? And continue on down all the way through your entire being. Once you've done the fullness of the exploration of giving thanks and honor to your entire being, go get that held mirror and take a look at your pussy. And when you look at her creases and her folds, look at her curves. Do you know that some discover who she is, what she looks like? Do you know that some pussies are darker than others? Some are rose colored and others are a chocolate brown. What does she smell like? Do you know what her scents smell like? Do you know what the pheromones, when they're activated within you, do you know what those smell like? What does she taste like? Yes. If you want somebody else to be licking on it, then you should be knowing what it tastes like. I mean, that's what it is. Hey, Christine, that's what it is. You should be knowing what your body tastes like. You should not expect for anybody else to put their mouth on you if you do not know what that tastes like. Begin to explore her. Feel her. Touch your mons pubis. Touch your labia, your inner and outer lips. The inner and outer lips actually have nerve endings. Massage them. Take time to massage them and caress them and love on them. Explore the inner lips, the urethra. The interesting thing is that you may know about the G spot, right? But there's a gland right near the urethra and the clitoris called the skin gland. That skin gland is what's responsible for female ejaculation or squirting. Get to know your pussy, yo. For real. Uh and begin to explore her canal. Tasha Ariel has a wonderful womb clearing service that she offers. I implore you all to sign up with her and allow her to take you through that womb clearing. It's really, really amazing. It will help you to stimulate that orgasmic space within yourself. It will allow you to experience ecstasy. Tasha's that service Tasha offers is amazing. I implore you to get with her and sign up for it. But it starts to explore your pussy. Explore. See if she likes to be touched gently or if she likes to be touched roughly. Where does she like to be touched roughly? Where does she like to be touched gently? As you're exploring her, stay very much highly aware of what her responses are to you. Everything that you do to her, be aware of what she's saying back to you. What is she saying? How is she feeling? Is she purring? Is she getting wetter? Is she getting juicy for you? What is she doing? Is she talking to you? Is she allowing you to understand or know more about the gateway that you are? I love that womb clearing. Like you already know. You already know. I'm probably gonna have to talk about it in a separate live because the shit was fucking dope. So you already know. No problem. But start to understand what your pussy likes and what she hates. Understand, and as you start to tune into her responses, your intuition will increase exponentially. It will be your pussy is your greatest source of intuition. She will tell you what she likes and she will tell you what she hates. She will give you signals to know which direction to go into. She will respond when you're on point and when you're far off. One of my let me go back. For example, I don't know. I mean, I've been with Wakanda for so long that it rarely, like I really even tune into it unless I'm with him. But that's not true. That's kind of true. It's kind of true. But when you meet a man or when you see a specific man, them, like even with the memes that come down sometimes, be like, choose a drink, coffee, tea, milk, wine, and you look at the men, your pussy responds in some kind of way. She responds, be like, oh yeah, that one, or no, not that one, no. A lot of times, one of the things that we all are aware of is that we know if we want to have sex with somebody within that first few moments of getting to know you. That first impression will give you a good indication of what your pussy feels about this partner that you're in alignment with. She will give you that indication. And so if you can think about it in that way, if you could think of, she knows even if you aren't paying attention. Exactly. She knows even if you're not paying attention. So if you think about it in that way, if you think about everything in life in that way, about that first response to a partner that you may want to be with, think about that in all aspects of life. Do I really want to get this job? Hell no. Okay, here's an example. Do I really want to go back to the corporation? This is for me. I'm an entrepreneur. This is my, like, right now, the etheric touch and these courses that we give in and the services that I offer is the only way I am sustaining myself. Do I want to, so my question to my pussy, do I want to go back to a corporation? That shit dries up and shrivels. Like, the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck would you want to do that shit for? Are you out your damn mind? Oh, okay. So do I need to go harder with the etheric touch? Here come the juices.
Yeah, I sure do.
Here come the juices. Do I want to do these readings today? Here comes the juices. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Do I want to give this session, even if I feel like I'm tired? Do I want to give this session? Here comes the juices. That's where my creativity is flowing from. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So and some of y'all know me from back in the day. I still feel the same way I did then as I do now. If it does not make you wet, to hell with it. If it does not make you wet, to hell with it. You should not be doing it. Go the opposite way of the way you're going. Run for your life. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Or not. You know what I'm saying? It's important for, and I wanted to take you through that meditation of exploring her and getting to know her and understanding what her responses is. Because once you understand her responses, what her responses is, then you are also ready to encounter your inner lover. You are now ready to encounter your inner lover. A woman welcoming herself into her own heart, being completely fine with yourself, strengths, weaknesses, imperfections, flaws, completely content. This is about falling in love with yourself, becoming both the lover and the beloved. So, I know that's right, Alex. I was just looking at Jesse. This is about falling in love with yourself, becoming the lover and the beloved, the one who receives and the one who gives. So check this out. Many times we are looking for partners to fulfill things for us that we are not willing to fulfill for ourselves. Many times we are expecting our partners to give us things, and that's when a lot of times you hear people saying how the romance has died. Trucking does it for you. You better do it, Christine. I know. That big ass truck. I can understand that with all that power behind that truck. I can understand that. A lot of times women, when they say, you know, the flame has fizzled out or the romance has died, it's because they have not shown their partners how to take care of them by the things that they have been doing for themselves. You cannot expect anybody to do anything for you that you are not willing to give to yourself first. So this lover and beloved, what that's saying is the amount of self-love and the amount of self-care that I give to myself is so overwhelming that I'm not looking for it outside of myself anymore.
I just wanted to add on to what she just said, you know what I'm saying, of the inner lover, you know what I'm saying? All of us have the masculine and feminine principle within our own self because we are all, you know, a combination of our mothers and our fathers operating in us, the yin and the yang, heaven and earth, like however you want to look at that. These two extremes operate inside of us. This is the first love affair we need to be in. Like this is the first relationship that we need to deal with is the relationship that we have with ourselves. This is the first couple. Like you are your first couple. Anyone externally is secondary because the first relationship that anyone will ever be in is the one that they have with themselves. And so, and that's why she made the point of, you know, like the mates that we have in our life will always be a reflection of what's going on inside of us. And so, the masculine principle within you as an individual, queens as individuals, is that doing principle. The masculine principle is the doing principle. Like historically, it will always be looked at like, you know, even now, some today, like the man goes outside of, you know, he's supposed to go out and do what needs to be done, and he brings home the things that he collect back to the woman in the home, and she takes what he brings in and she nurtures the whole home with it. You know what I mean? So the feminine principle is the nurturing principle. The masculine principle is the doing principle. So inside of yourself, are you doing the things for yourself that will bring nurturance into your own life? And so doing the things for yourself that you need to do and not being dependent on anything or anyone else to bring you back into that, bring us all into that place of self-love from the relationship, that inner relationship that we are having with ourselves. That love affair that's supposed to be going on inside of each and every one of us as individuals. The first couple is inside of you. And until we master that relationship, until we master that bond, until we fall in love with ourselves, then anything else that we experience externally is not going to be what it should be. Yeah.
Excuse me. And so by connecting with ourselves in this way, by being our own lovers, by connecting with ourselves in this way, you create the potential to be orgasmic. Your potential to be orgasmic is greatly enhanced. Okay, it is. This is what dealing with high sex or higher sex or tantric sex or sacred sex is. Is discovering the art of self pleasuring. Discovering the art of self pleasuring is essential to high sex. It's essential. You have to learn to give yourself all the erotic stimulation that you could ever wish to receive from somebody else. So that you can enjoy pleasure and become fully orgasmic in love. Okay? So before self-pleasuring, many women find it extremely arousing to read erotic literature or see erotic pictures, novels, romantic content, meditation. The greatest tool to be utilized for sexual stimulation is the imagination, because energy follows thought. Remember what we were talking about earlier about how you take the unseen and bring it into manifestation? So increasing your imagination and utilizing it for sexual stimulation will is essential in self-pleasuring. Some women feel more easily aroused by sex toys, vibrators for the clitoris, dildos for penetration. But the more arousal you feel, the more sexual energy you will feel, and the easier it will become to be multi-orgasmic.
So all of this is talking about is that the more in love with your own self you become, the more of an orgasmic being you become. Like true orgasms stem from self-love. So the more that you're in that place of loving yourself, the more that you're in that place of honoring your own self, the more you're in that place of unifying and becoming whole and complete within your own being, the more orgasmic you become. Like, this is all about self-love. Like, how am I making love to myself? Not how nobody else is making love to me. How am I making love to myself? Because I want to be orgasmic inside of my own being for me to don't have anything to do with anyone else. And I'm speaking like as women, because most women don't even get an opportunity to have orgasms like they should be having them. But that's why y'all are here. Y'all are orgasm machines. And that's even for our benefit, how we talked about earlier. Like, a man made it a point to, every time they had that encounter with a woman, like, I want you to have as many orgasms that you can possibly have, because I know how that sustains my life. That's how every man should go into that encounter. I know how that's going to nurture me. I know that's how it's going to strengthen my body, my mind, and my spirit. I know that she is my sustainer. I know that I need this. What do I need to do? Let me know what type of time I need to put in. What do you like? What you don't like? Because I got to get you to that orgasm, because I want to be here. I want my life to be sustained. It is that important. So it's for men to give a woman an extreme amount of pleasure for the health benefits that they have for him. And how that's going to sustain his life so he can live longer, because men are living a lot shorter than women because of this. So we can have longevity. Like, women are the sustainers of our life. And we have to come back into that knowledge as men and give they women their power back and do for them what we need to be doing for them, but so we can continue on here on earth and live and be strong and be, you know what I'm saying, and be everything that we come here to be. You ain't gonna do that without no woman. You're not.
Told you he worship. He be in worship. I told y'all. The major key to self-pleasuring, um, the major key outside of the imagination is Kegels, or stimulating your PC muscles. And the reason why is because it circulates blood flow and sexual energy throughout the whole body. So one, it fills the pussy full of blood, which is needed for stimulation, and then it takes that same energy and it circulates it throughout the blood flow throughout the whole, and sexual energy throughout the whole body. This is even more essential during ritual. The stronger the PC muscle, the greater the orgasmic response.
You know, they know what that is, how to contract that.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all know what Kegels are. Make sure I'm saying what I'm speaking in terms that you understand. I'm speaking because a lot of us had children already. We've been taught about Kegels for. I know I was taught back when I was like 18, 19 years old about the stimulation, but even before then, I just liked the actual way it felt. When I can make it jump. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that was pretty dope.
Can I add
men, it's really interesting. Like, we have tried to put out these classes for men in the past. With Conjure leading those classes, men have a hard time taking this information. They have a hard time opening themselves up. Like, yeah, ego is real, and it's hard to hear. You know, like men don't even like to think that they're not satisfying us now. Like they like us to pretend that we're orgasming when we're not. You know what I'm saying? They really like to pretend like they're doing something they are not doing. And so we have tried, you know, countless times to, you know, have conjured to do a class, and there have been not any or minimal responses to the class. So
the reason why
they can see.
Okay. The reason why it's extremely important, and you know why my wife once had brought up the Kegel or the PC pump exercises, because like what we have to understand about sexual energy, like my wife said earlier, is that it's on a journey. Like sexual energy has a destiny. Sexual energy is supposed to evolve and become life force energy, and then life force energy evolves even further to become spiritual energy. So what that Kegel exercise do for women and men, but we speaking to men right now, when you are sexually heightened or you are in that sexual, you're a heightened place, squeezing that muscle, squeezing that pump sends the sexual energy into higher realms of your being. It takes it out the genital area and brings it to where it can spread throughout your whole body, and that way a person can have full body orgasms. So through squeezing that muscle, working with that muscle, the sexual pleasure that you are feeling in the yoni or the pussy is like you send it up throughout the whole body through squeezing it and pumping that pump. And then it not only allows a person to have multiple or higher orgasms, it energizes the internal organs. So it becomes life force. Like you become healthier, you become stronger, like you become healthier and stronger, like when that energy is able to reach to other areas of your being, not just the genital area. We got to get that energy up into higher realms of ourselves, and that Kegel pump does that. So when you're experiencing that sexual pleasure, make sure you're squeezing that muscle and envisioning that energy spreading out through your whole body, because we want to get to whole body orgasms. We want to get to that level as well. You know what I mean? So
you
that's
want to
the
get to
importance of
soul
that part.
orgasms.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's the next step is that full body orgasm. Then you get to the soul orgasm. But that PC pump is essential in that. It's essential.
Oh no, shit! What? One of the sisters. What you mean? I invited everybody. I thought. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, just 1 second.
Who said they wanted?
I'll make sure to tag her. She said Tanya. I wish she had said something earlier because I thought I had everyone in here. So if let's say for now, like generally speaking, I do classes of 10. Y'all know this about me. I won't take more than 10 students at a time. If we could get 5 men to participate in a group class, then Conjure will do it. Do you mind doing one-on-one classes with men? He does not mind doing one-on-one classes for men. So yeah, and then the G spot specifically, which is on the inner wall of the punani on the opposite side of where the clitoris lies. The stimulation, it feels like a sponge, kind of, or you can tell there's a difference in the space. So like that goes back to the exploration. Stimulation of the G spot will enlarge the skin gland, which is in close proximity to the urethra and the clitoris. When stimulated, it can lead to female ejaculation. I think I said that earlier. So there's 3 different types of orgasms specifically I want to touch on. Now I've heard up to 11. Then somebody said it could be well over that, but I'm just wanting to talk to you about 3. The first one is genital orgasm, and genital orgasm, which is the complete stimulation of the clitoris and the clitoris alone, plus vaginal penetrative sex, is the most frequented experience that women have, but it's also the quickest and releases a great deal of healing energy.
The least. The genital orgasm. That's what
it doesn't release. I'm sorry. It's the quickest and does not release a great deal of healing energy. Whereas at the whole body, because remember he said sexual energy is on a journey from the root to the heart space to the crown. A whole body orgasm comes from circulating the energy throughout the entire body. So this is where the microcosmic orbit breathing technique in level 1 comes into play, along with doing Kegels as you're doing that breathing technique will have an extreme healing effect over your body. And then the last one is the soul orgasm, which is the ultimate healing orgasms. This includes the Kegels, the imagination, the microcosmic yeah, I keep wanting to say orgasm. Orbit. That's where the soul orgasm comes. And a woman produces 3 distinct types of sexual secretions. 1 from the mouth, that's the saliva. 2 from the breasts. I like to be thinking of like golden honey spilling out. You know what I'm saying? When we give birth and we nurse our children, is golden honey. The milk is golden milk. You know what I'm saying? So golden honey milk spilling out of us, and that's literally what I think about. Is that I always have this constant flow of milk spilling, this golden honey spilling out of my breast. And then the yoni.
I just wanted to add on to it, like, far as men, why that's extremely important. Like, when you are able to but be patient enough with a woman to where she's in a highly sexual place, she begins to relieve life-sustaining energies from all throughout her body. The 3 main one is the fluid of kissing her, of like taking that in, like she's sustaining your life, sucking on them breasts, like it's something, it's a force, it's an energy, it's a power that's being released that is here to sustain our life. And then we talked about the yoni earlier, all of these juices and the somas and everything just intertwining in that space, and then that's infused with an orgasm. You know what I mean? All that is there, and then the pores on a man's phallus opens up, and he begins to drink that. So she's sustaining our life in every way. Like, this is what sex is for. Sex is actually sexual healing. That's what it's supposed to be about. But we done lost that concept and that reality of the sacredness of sex from all this recreational, life that most people live now as it relates to that. Like, this fun, but you think it's fun, but it's actually killing you. Especially us men, because most men spend their life ejaculating that force out of their body. And this is the life force of our lives here. Like, this is what sustains our life. Like, we release this force into a woman and it creates a whole nother life. You know what I'm saying? So it's life force energy that most men just expel out of their body constantly. And you know what I mean? So much so that we get to an age of 30 and 40, and now we having prostate issues and we can't keep it up because, like, we have been releasing that life force for so long. Like, we are weakened. We are weakened now. So we have to understand how to begin to retain this energy within our body, and don't be releasing this energy outside of our body unless we're trying to create a child, because it is literally life force energy that a woman retains with her orgasms. Like, she has internal orgasms, and that's the difference. Men have external orgasms. So we are weakening ourselves each time that we have one. And so we have to begin to understand and learn, and we're gonna go into this more in other classes for men to learn and understand the difference between ejaculation and orgasm. Women have orgasms, men ejaculate. So we need to, like, men need to learn to become more like women, and start having orgasms by stop allowing that force to be ejaculated out of our body, and learn how to circulate that energy throughout our body. And that way we can begin to balance our women out more in the bed, because as soon as man ejaculate that energy, a man can be filled up with all of this energy and excitement prior to sex. As soon as he have that ejaculation, he don't even want to touch it no more. Like, where did all of that energy go to? What did that excitement, anticipation? Baby, I need you. What you want me to do for you? Like, where did all of that energy go? It went with the ejaculation. So the goal is not to have them. The ejaculation literally destroys relationships and destroys families. Like, that's only needed when you are trying to have a child. Anything other than that, you want to keep that energy circulating through your body. And we're going to go more into that in future classes dealing with this subject.
Let me ask y'all how y'all doing, because I know it's 1 o'clock now. It's after 1, I'm sure. It's 1.